COVID on the rise. Maryland records almost 2,500 new cases, 33 new deaths, and the positivity rate is the highest we've seen in months. Now, while those numbers surge, the vaccine rollout is slow and businesses are taking desperate measures to survive. WJZ's live in Mount Washington Village. Sandy Rose Ramos with more on one restaurant that had to shut down its doors. Sandy Rose.
Hey Max, good morning. While the number of COVID cases here in the city are going down, the number of hospitalizations are going up. And now restaurants like this one, Mount Washington Tavern, are having to take drastic measures in order to survive.
It's the start of a new year, but coronavirus cases have not let up. Maryland recorded the highest positivity rate since June, 9.47%. Monday, health officials reported over 2,400 new cases, with 33 COVID-related deaths. 1,751 people are hospitalized. Of those, 418 are in ICU beds, and over 1,300 are in acute care.
Best way to protect our economy is to get back to some sense of normalcy, but we have to do that by stopping the spread of this virus.
In the city, uncertainty remains as restaurants struggle to stay alive.
It still feels surreal. It feels sad and heartbreaking, something that we never thought we would have to do.
For the first time in 41 years, Mount Washington Tavern closed its doors without knowing when it will reopen again. In a message posted online, the owners say with a heavy heart they will close until restrictions lift and the city can offer indoor dining again. Manager Stephanie Mashera says it was a difficult decision.
Unfortunately, for whatever reason, the carryout business just wasn't quite enough to sustain us.
As of Monday, the vaccine rollout is slow. Less than 1.5% of people in Baltimore area have been vaccinated.
It's not just sticking needles in arms. There's a lot of moving parts, and I think nobody is quite performing at the top capacity.
And Max, more Maryland public schools are choosing to move 100% online, like Worcester County, where their positivity rate is about 16%. Now, they've canceled all of their online classes, along with Frederick County, where they're online learning only. Reporting live, I'm Annie Rose Ramos for WJZ.
Annie Rose, thank you. Governor Hogan will hold a news conference about the vaccine today at 5 p.m. Watch it live right here on WJZ. Okay, dentists are not part of the Phase 1 vaccine, but some feel they should be. Abijoy Burnett speaks to one man who's leading the charge to get the dental community vaccinated.
We're right in the muck. We are right in your face when we're treating you.
Dr. Gary Bauman says he's been trying to figure out exactly when the dental community will get vaccinated for COVID-19, but he's gotten no specific answers. The nature of their jobs puts them at high risk for exposure.
As most people know, when we're treating patients, they can't wear masks, and we are literally 6 inches away from COVID. Possibly with asymptomatic patients every single time we see a patient.
The number of doses of the vaccine the state has right now is extremely limited. A spokesperson for the governor's office reiterated that the earliest vaccinations are for the frontline healthcare workers, nursing homes, and first responders, and that local health departments will be making arrangements for all licensed healthcare providers to be vaccinated this month. 65,000 people have been vaccinated for COVID-19 here in Maryland, and the fairgrounds in Baltimore County is one of those sites where you could show up to get your vaccine.
So what we wanted to do was to start to vaccinate our staff who are the testers, vaccinate the staff who are the vaccinators, and also start to vaccinate the EMS who are going out taking care of very sick people.
This online petition demanding immediate COVID-19 vaccination for dentists and dental staff here in Maryland now has more than 400 signatures.
There is a lot of frustration going on out there. We feel like we've been shunted aside, that we aren't considered frontline healthcare workers when we are.
The first doses of the vaccine were administered here in Maryland just about 2 weeks ago. At this point, 65,000 people have been vaccinated, but keep in mind that is less than 1% of the state's total population. Abijoy Burnett for WJZ.
Okay, during this pandemic, many mental health clinics and crisis centers have been dealing with a spike in calls from many people needing help. The chief medical officer with Catholic Charities tells us many parents are reaching out with difficulties at home, financial problems, and concerns about caring for older loved ones. If you can relate, here's some advice.
encourage people to try to maintain some routine and some structure. We encourage people to try to continue exercising. We encourage people to use all the coping skills that they already had and even amplify during this more difficult time.
Dr. Means says if you're struggling, it's important to speak up, get some guidance and care. Catholic Charities of Baltimore is one resource. It has 8 clinics across the state. We have all that information posted now at WJZ.com.